World of Warcraft is a game known for its RPG mechanics, ninja looting, and the most bombastically entertaining streamer drama I have ever seen. Today we'll be drawing some tokens within my DM Cyberpunk campaign, while I talk about how one moment made one of my most successful shorts to date. Within a Friday afternoon, I tuned in to watch Tyler 1 Ray lead his OnlyFangs party into Onyxia's lair and Molten Core, and while there was a bit of a scare in the beginning of Onyxia's fight, as this boss needs to be pulled to the edge of the arena, so players have enough space to do the very simple mechanics of the fight, Tyler not having years of experience struggled a bit to drag the boss in their ideal position. But fortunately they were able to get the kill on her with nobody dying. This left me thinking, okay cool, there probably isn't going to be any real issues in MC, since Onyxia is probably one of the harder bosses of all the encounters they'll have today. Oh, how wrong I was. Most of MC went pretty smoothly. Nobody was dying to any boss, and Tyler explained the mechanics for most fights pretty well. Honestly, it was getting a bit boring to watch as the raid party had so much damage to the point where most bosses didn't even take a minute to kill. Now, the damage and the mechanics weren't an issue until Tyler's team came across Baron Geddon, a boss that implants a bomb debuff on a random party member that will cause them to explode and harm anyone near them. On top of that, Baron has a pulsing AoE mechanic that he casts around him that would encourage players to get away from him, as each pulse ramps in damage, and most classes will probably die if they take more than 3 to 4 pulses. There's also a minor mana drain mechanic that alludes to casters wanting to stop casting spells during this so they don't just blow all their mana. Pretty simple, right? Well, what if I told you that one of the most cinematic moments in modern WoW history would come from a controversial call? As Tyler's group fought Baron and did the mechanics pretty well, Baron would get to around 3 to 5% health, and he'd start casting his AoE damage mechanic, and it would be here where Tyler would tell his raid to well, about more than half of the party would decide to ignore this call, and leave Tyler and anyone who did decide to stay like Pompey and Waz to pretty much fend for themselves and lose their characters. Now, I'm not here to say that what Tyler said was right and anyone who ran out was in the wrong. Both sides of the argument are valid, but I will say that if Tyler made the call just a bit earlier to stick it, then they wouldn't have had one of the most cinematic deaths in WoW history. But hindsight's 2020, and I do know that Baron would have still died if just 1 or 2 party members stuck it and did a bit more damage to the boss. I also think that they could have just all ran out and came back together to finish Baron 10 seconds later. Either way, this was still a cinematic moment that I made a short about on a whim, since Tyler's hardcore death captivated me, and many others, to the point where my short blew up on Twitter and TikTok. Tyler even reacted to it on stream. Getting a smile from something I poured hours into really made that effort worth it, and I hope he comes back to WoW as his content made the game fun to watch again. Short disclaimer here, I just want to say that it's not cool to attack or harass anyone that was in Tyler 1's raid and quote-unquote roached out, so please don't attack anybody.